I'm in the midst of a 24-hour fast right now. I do these pretty much like every month, and I'm doing it weekly now as a part of this protocol. It's actually a muscle building protocol, which is pretty interesting. And I wanted to talk about some benefits of fasting. First, I'll just go over some physical benefits of fasting. And a lot of people, whenever you say that you're fasting or something like that, people think you're going to die. But we could last like 3 or 4 weeks without food. And fasting, especially short-term intermittent fasting, comes with a whole host of health benefits. It's really healthy, and that's why a lot of ancient cultures recommend different forms of intermittent fasting. Of course, you shouldn't just fast for weeks on end right now because that's not going to be healthy. But there are a lot of strategies to actually leverage the health benefits of it. So, like for example, after about 12 hours or so, your cells start undergoing this process called autophagy, which is basically cellular regeneration. Your cells start cleaning themselves out because digesting food requires a lot of energy. And when you're not digesting food, your body's able to reallocate that energy to other things, such as healing. So that's one benefit. And fasting also resets your insulin hormones. So it allows you to become more insulin sensitive. So you're able to process carbohydrates and sugars more effectively. So those are just a couple. And it makes you sharper too, because that ties into the energy distribution as well. If you're not not wasting, but if you're not diverting all your energy to digestion, it frees up energy for your brain. And again, this is with short-term intermittent fasting. I'm sure your brain function would be compromised if you fasted for like 3 weeks or so. But nothing wrong with short intermittent fasts. And I wanted to talk about a benefit that is less physical, but that might be my favorite benefit of fasting. And that is how fasting acts as a pattern interrupter. I love things that are pattern interrupters. And what I mean by a pattern interrupter is that it's an interruption in the pattern of eating. So whenever you interrupt a pattern that you have, it creates awareness around it. So when you fast, you become hyper aware of your relationship with food. And I think that's really important because so many of us mindlessly eat. If we're bored, we'll grab food without even thinking about it and start munching on it. And it's not in your best interest to mindlessly do anything because you could slip into patterns that aren't for your best interest. Well, it's cool if you don't want to have your best interest in mind, but most people, especially if you're watching this, you do want to have your best interest in mind. So you need awareness and mindfulness to do so. So fasting creates mindfulness around eating, around your reasons for eating. Are you eating out of boredom? Are you eating emotionally? Things like that, because more often than not, we eat when we're not truly hungry and when we don't even need it. So it creates awareness around that. And it creates awareness around what you're eating as well. So total mindfulness around eating and your hunger and things like that. So those pattern interrupts are crucial in my opinion, and they create so much awareness and mindfulness. I do it with my phone, for example. For the last year, I don't use my phone within an hour of sleeping and within the first hour of waking up. So that's a pattern interrupt. And because if you use your phone 24/7, you're always going to take it out of your pocket and look at it mindlessly without even knowing or realizing that you're doing it. And that's when it becomes an addiction, and that's when it controls you instead of you being the master of it. So the same applies to food. You are the master of food. Don't let food be your slave driver. And a lot of us are mastered by food, just like we're mastered by our phones more often than not. And this mindfulness also comes with the awesome benefit of allowing you to enjoy the taste of food more. If you have this pattern interrupt with food, when you do have food, you're going to thoroughly enjoy it. And that's been such an incredible benefit of all of my mindfulness practices and my fasting practices, is that food tastes so much better. I didn't even realize that a few years ago I was eating mindlessly. I was eating food but not truly tasting it. And now I do taste it. And I was so rigorous with my mindful eating practices that I wouldn't eat with any distractions or anything like that. But I've gotten to such a place with it that my roommate was playing Always Sunny in Philadelphia last night while I was cooking and then eating, and I was able to really tune into my food instead of the show and really enjoy the taste of it. So it's like living in HD, tasting in HD. It's that much better. So when you create those pattern interrupts, you're actually able to enjoy things more. And I think that's an awesome benefit to fasting. So I don't want to ramble anymore. That's all I got. Try out some form of fasting. Obviously, do your research before. Don't just jump into something and hurt yourself. But yeah, there's no problem with doing a 16-hour fast, for example. But I like 24-hour fasts. And the logistics of it, I didn't even get into that. I'll quickly explain that. The logistics of it is I ate dinner last night, and I'm not going to eat again until dinner tonight. So it's simple. You incorporate the hours that you're sleeping, of course. So let's say you eat dinner at 7:30 p.m., stop eating then, and then you sleep, go through the whole next day until 7:30 p.m. the next day when you break the fast. So that's a 24-hour fast. So that's what mine is, literally at 7:30 p.m. So I got like 6 more hours. It'll be fun. All right, peace, much love, and one love, baby.